Hello fellow YouTubers, welcome to this Raw review. Hopefully you guys are going to watch this Raw review because I've been noticing that sub count ticking up, so hopefully that trend continues. Anyway, we're going to go through Raw, hopefully not too long this time. So the show kicks off with Wyatt coming out and he cuts a promo. It wasn't as bad as he normally is, but the thing that stuck out was that he kept saying that he had sacrificed Seth Rollins and Samoa Joe last week. How? You hit them with one move. I don't get that. He kind of runs too long, and I guess they, in the backstage area, were pushing Roman Reigns out there like, come on, get him to shut up, because he's been talking way too long. And thank goodness, because, man, Wyatt can really run sometimes. Wyatt claims to be the only one who can beat Brock, which I find funny, being as, I don't think any of them really could, except Reigns. Reigns would be the only one that I think they'd give the win to. But saying that, they gave Jinder Mahal a victory over Randy Orton. So Reigns threatens to beat up Wyatt at that point when Kurt Angle comes out and makes a match that's going to start next. It's Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt. This is a match we've seen before. Whoop-de-doo. The match is passable. The thing that stood out to me during the match was the how there's a "Let's go Roman, Roman sucks" chant. But notice when they do this chant, you aren't chanting for Bray Wyatt. You're just chanting more for Reigns. So it appears Bray Wyatt was not that over. Granted, they had the Fireflies, but I'm just overreading that. Joe comes out and gives the victory to Reigns before Rollins comes out, and then the faces end up standing tall at the end. Who cares, really? Instead of having somebody on TV's music come on, they have, I guess, what's the Extreme Rules theme song? I didn't know. I couldn't tell. Just wasn't, Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns' music, which I thought was odd, but granted, in hindsight, I guess it's because then you have to pick which one. If you pick Roman Reigns' music, then you're pushing Roman Reigns too much, according to the internet. And if you pick Seth Rollins' music, well, you have to listen to Seth Rollins' music. Rollins and Reigns are backstage, and Reigns said basically, oh, I didn't need your help, I could have handled it. And Seth's like, well, I only went out there to get Samoa Joe for myself. So, I wasn't out there to help you. Then they announced that the main event's going to be a tag team match, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe and Bray Wyatt. Again, who cares? Then, while they're talking, the Drifter shows up, and Kurt Angle actually gives him a match this week with Dean Ambrose, which, it was a humorous little segment. Did what it needed to do. And there's a Davari versus Tazawa match. I say who cares a lot, but really who cares? Davari has, in essence, been just the jobber for the cruiserweights, just like Tony Nese has been, and we'll get to him later. He's in a match tonight too. And surprise, surprise, Davari loses. The crowd did not seem to care. Sometimes when the crowd starts doing the 1, 2, 3, ooh, when the person kicks out, none of that. The crowd didn't care. I wonder why. Tazawa has no character aside from and Brian Kendrick's backstage trying to keep it interesting, but he couldn't, to be honest. This was just meh. The only plus side is that it was a really short match, thank goodness, because I don't personally care for either of these guys. Why should I? They have no character. At least Davari, haven't they mentioned that he's related to the other Davari? So, there's something? Tazawa gets his passport stolen. That's his character? I don't get it. There was a funny spot where Tazawa's going up the ramp and then he starts screaming at some little girl. And, the girl looked like she might have been 6 or 7, maybe. I don't know. But the humorous part is that I'm just putting myself in her shoes as some grown Asian man comes up to me and starts going, ah, 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 ah. It's just, poor little girl. Poor little girl. Now we see Sasha backstage. She gets interviewed before Alicia Fox and Noam Dar come in, and basically they call her a loser because she's alone, which, thanks. But let's continue. We come back to the ring, and Elias Samson is in the ring, and he is singing a song now. Okay, I don't watch NXT, so Elias Samson singing? That is good. Let's have that every time he has a match. I don't care if his singing's meh. I want this. This is good stuff. Oh, he says he's going to end Dean Ambrose, which, you know, whatever. Corey up-talks the hell out of Elias during the match, though. I mean, damn. Like, I don't think I've heard a heel commentator boo somebody that much, especially somebody who's in their first match on the main roster, which Ambrose jumps into Elias's knee, and my God, that spot looked great. I mean, holy hell. Like, the big takeaway for this match is that Elias Samson is great. I don't know how you could not like him. His in-ring work is solid from what I've seen. Granted, I've only seen one match, but he had a good match with Dean Ambrose, which is something not everybody can say. I mean, it is what it is, but I mean, his character is good. His mic skills are good. He looks good. I see nothing wrong with this guy. I mean, if you're watching this and you disagree, feel free to leave in a comment your thoughts about why he isn't that great, but he legitimately might be one of my favorite guys in a while, at least since Jack Gallagher. So, it's a compliment. Then The Miz comes in, and it looks like he's about to hit Dean Ambrose, and he hits Elias Samson, which is weird, but it made sense because then Elias Samson won the match. Now, the whole stipulation for The Miz, Dean Ambrose at Extreme Rules is that if Dean Ambrose gets disqualified, which he's done like one time, maybe once, that he'll lose the title. But this raises the question, is Maurice going to come in and like hit Miz? Is that how they're going to retain? Because that will win the title. That'd be really interesting. Could you imagine that? Granted, that would mean they would continue this feud, and yeah, I don't want to see Miz Dean Ambrose anymore. Like Miz, don't like Dean Ambrose, but this feud is going on way too long. They both could do better. We go to the backstage, and Big Cass is seen looking for Enzo, and they find him knocked out backstage, and Cass explodes at the referees. He is like, which is pretty humorous. And at the moment, I thought this was going to be like the mystery of the night. We were going to, you know, follow Cass throughout the night, but he doesn't do that. He threatens Kurt Angle, saying that, you know, he's going to beat up whoever did it. He's going to figure it out. Okay, the takeaway from this is, I don't know. I guess we'll figure out next week, hopefully next week. Or they'll build it up for a while. But, you know, Enzo isn't stone cold, so let's not make this too long. Finn Balor comes out and starts cutting a shitty promo because he's Finn Balor, that's what he does. And he gets interrupted by Paul Heyman, who belittles everybody in the Fatal 5-Way match, except for Finn Balor. And realistically, I mean, he was slurping Balor hard. I mean, it was... honestly, it was way too much. But it raises the question, because as wrestling fans, we're trained to think anything that happens for a reason. So, Paul Heyman, the heel manager or advocate, if you want to call him that, for Brock Lesnar, the heel world champion, is saying how much he likes the face Finn Balor. Now, the immediate thought is Finn Balor going to team up with Paul Heyman and Lesnar? Are we finally going to see it? Well, I guess finally isn't the word. Are we going to see a heel Finn Balor? Because I hate Finn Balor. Don't hate me for it. I hate him for the same reasons you guys hate Roman Reigns. But if this is what they're going for, I mean, heel turns in a good situation work really well. So hopefully they do something interesting with this. Do I think that's going to happen? No. More than likely what's going to happen is basically Finn Balor is just being up-talked for no reason. And in a month we won't even remember this happened. But whatever. The match was Finn Balor versus Carl Anderson, which was weird. I think if they were going to turn Finn heel, they would have kind of hinted at it here. But no, he just kind of like destroyed Carl Anderson. I mean, it's whatever. The thing I noticed during this match is that one of the main cameras, the one that was on the right, was lighter than the other ones. So every time they went to that one, people's skin color would change. It was just really distracting. Plus, really, I don't care for either of these guys' work. So, I mean, Balor has a few cool moves, but I don't know. I'm gonna need to see something actually good out of him at some point to become a fan, which I won't do for a long time until fans start cheering for Roman Reigns. So then we have Alicia Fox versus Sasha Banks. Banks wins. This whole thing feels pointless. Basically, over the last 3 weeks, they've had 3 matches, and they've all kind of sucked, to be honest. Alicia Fox won one of them. What was the point? I mean, it basically felt like they were like, we need a segment to kill like 10 minutes on each show. Hey, Sasha Banks isn't doing anything, is she? Let's have her lose to Alicia Fox one week. I don't get it. After the match, Dara's talking to Sasha Banks, and then Fox hits her from behind, which, I mean, it was okay. I mean, if this is this is the thing I don't like about this, because we've already seen them fight 3 times in 3 weeks. So the feud is going to continue? I don't want to see them fight 4 times. I don't want to see them fight twice. Why is this a thing? Then we have Kalisto and Apollo Crews backstage, and Kalisto asks what's wrong with Crews, and he implies that he attacked Enzo backstage, which... Okay, WWE, if anybody in your company watches this, no. Please, no. Don't make it Apollo Crews. Don't make it Titus O'Neil. I mean, I guess it has to be one of those moments where in the show I got like really disgusted by something, because I'm just sitting there like, man, this could be good. Oh god. Yeah. He also says that Kalisto says to Apollo Crews that Crews was fighting all of Titus O'Neil's battles, which confused me because just last week Titus O'Neil wrestled his match. So he's not fighting his battles for him. They're a team, like Kalisto was with Sin Cara. It's called a tag team. Whatever. It was bad. Titus O'Neil comes out and basically implies that, oh, Kalisto wants to join us. And he said something about how he'll take any money, pesos, and euros, and food stamps. It was good. Titus O'Neil has definitely been a bright spot lately, which, you know, is kind of funny because they'll never do anything with him. There was a video package for Goldust. It was gibberish, basically. Basically, he said he was going to be in the director's chair again. Who knows? Who cares? There was a Bliss interview backstage, and basically she just said that Bayley can't get extreme. It was dull. Rare miss for Bliss, I guess. Kalisto and Crews had a match. Kalisto wins. It was more filler, if we're being honest. Now we had Matt Hardy versus Sheamus. Now the stipulation of this match was the winner gets to decide the stipulation for the Extreme Rules match. So naturally Matt Hardy has to win, and he does. I mean, I did find a spot interesting where Sheamus had Matt Hardy in that stupid, like, I'm a pound on your chest spot that I don't really like. The crowd starts chanting 1, 2, and Sheamus is like, why am I doing this? I liked that. Sheamus, no matter what, he wants to be a good heel. It's just that people don't care about him, and hopefully that changes with this. Yeah, the thought that came to my head during this match was how much TNA goofed, because you figure this was in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Now I'm not saying this is like a bad city or anything. I don't know. All I'm saying is, if a decade ago this crowd was chanting for AJ Styles, yeah, I would have been stunned. If they would have been chanting something that happened in TNA like a year ago, back a decade ago, I would have been floored. And think about this, Matt Hardy is very, very over with the broken Matt Hardy thing. The crowd the whole time doing the stupid deletes and the obsoletes, which don't watch TNA, so don't get mad at me for not knowing this shit. But it's just crazy to think that TNA had this guy, and they let him go. They finally had something. And I say finally, but they had AJ Styles. And they really goof these things. Then Matt Hardy wins and he picks a cage match. You know, the whole time I was waiting for him to say like what was the match called? Final Deletion. I don't know what the match was actually called, but something like that. And instead it's a steel cage match, which just makes me sit here and go, well, who cares? I mean, I say that a lot, but really, I don't care about them being in a steel cage. The thing I've never really liked about steel cage matches, because one of the first ones I saw, I want to say was the Dudleys and Edge and Christian, maybe? But the way the match panned out was like one of the people got out. For one, I don't like steel cage matches, but two, one of the guys got out. And then the two, because it was a team versus one guy now, and the one guy got his ass beat. And then the team both split, so they won the match. So I'm wondering, are we going to see something like that? It's an okay thing. Cesaro and Sheamus, hopefully we'll be able to keep things interesting for me. Then we had Tony Nese versus Austin Aries. Told you guys Tony Nese was going to be on this show, and just like always, he was going to do the J.O.B. Aries wins, and then Neville beats up Nese after the match. It's a thing, I guess. I do want to say, before I continue, there is going to be a video up this week about this feud, because it has gone on way too long. It's not that it went on too long, it's just like the cruiserweight division as a whole kind of sucks, and that only gets compiled when basically you are having all of the cruiserweights line up to be jobbed out to Austin Aries if they're a heel, and Neville if they're a face, just so that way Neville can beat Aries 3 times, unless Neville loses, at which point, what is proven? Aries can beat Neville 1 time out of 3? So what, are we getting a 4th match? Is this feud going to continue until SummerSlam? Man, I hate the cruiserweights. Then there was Alexa Bliss versus Mickie James. Bliss wins. She hit her with a forearm and then hit her with a stupid DDT, which I'm never a fan of whenever it's one move and the match is over. I mean, if it's a real match, it shouldn't end like that, and if it's against a jobber, then that's okay. But Mickie James shouldn't be a jobber. I'm not saying she should be women's champion, but they could have put Alicia Fox in this. No, they couldn't have. They had really no choice here. But notice, I don't think Emma was on this show, but just a sidebar. Then we had the main event, Samoa Joe and Bray Wyatt versus Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. Thank you, notes. It dragged really bad. Reigns goes for Superman Punch, and he's going for it on Joe. Joe dodges, and then he bumps into Seth Rollins, who's in the ring legal, and I mean, he doesn't even hit him with the Superman Punch. He hits him with his shoulder, and then okay, I like Reigns, but he's selling oh, I'm blind, I don't know where I'm at. Why? Bray Wyatt pulls him out of the ring, and then Samoa Joe hits Seth Rollins with a stupid Kikita clutch. Okay. Who cares? I really do say that a lot, don't I? Then we see backstage, and Finn asks Kurt Angle, and he's like, I'm going to be in the main event next week. And Kurt Angle's like, yeah, you are. You're going to be fighting both of those men in a triple threat match. Which, I mean, I would say it should be good, but probably won't be. I mean, I don't really care for any of the 3 guys. He also announced that the other main event for next week's Raw is Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. So, we've seen that match before. I still think the better option would have been to put Samoa Joe against Roman Reigns. But, I mean, what do I know? Overall, this show was dull, and like most weeks' Raw, by that second hour, you just kind of lose interest. The only things really worth checking out, off the top of my head, Well, actually, I'm gonna look at my notes. The backstage segment with Kalisto and Apollo Crews, most def. I guess if you're gonna watch Raw next week, the Big Cass looking for Enzo spot. Oh, everything with Elias Samson. Definitely a fan. And that's it. Good show, WWE. Anyway, if you guys have watched all the way through, I'm going to actually start doing outros on this channel, because I should. Hit the like button, please. Please. And comment with your thoughts on Raw. And subscribe if you're new here. And if you aren't new here, or you are, feel free to share this with all your buddies. So that way I get more subscribers.